And welcome back to Pchrisbosh Props. Today I have some more updates. We are one step closer to finishing this replica shell of mine. Literally one step away. All we have to do is just get it textured and do some of the surface stuff, some of the paint strokes that are seen up here on the power cell box. I really want to try to match that closely. But other than that, the shell is pretty much finished, guys. This is the best I can do. I can humbly say that. This is the best I can do. But I just wanted to share a couple of the updates and the tweaks that I did. You probably won't be able to notice much just looking at it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and explain exactly what I did. So as seen on the screen used hero shells is this slight taper here seen on the clippered spacer. This was created, this gouge was probably created from a drill gun, the chuck of a drill gun. I'm not really sure, but it is present on the Venkman, Minnesota pack. Planet Hollywood, Minnesota pack to be exact, where it used to be. I'm not even sure if it's there anymore, but that's what I've always remembered it as, so that's what I always call it, the Minnesota Venkman pack. So yeah, this gouge actually is present on that pack. I thought it was only on the Sony Lobby Hero, or the Spangler Legacy pack as they call it now. I thought it was only present on that. I didn't know it was on that pack, so after doing some deep research, this is present on that pack. So I did decide to replicate that, as you could see there. I know I probably need to work on my camera work. Another small detail is this little dimple that's seen right there. I went ahead and added that in. That's going to look really nice once this has the paint strokes on it and a little bit of texture. This is not as textured as the cyclotron is. It's very, very faint, and it's mostly brushed over with paint. Another detail that I added, which took quite a bit of work, and this was something I kind of struggled with. I really wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not, but I decided to add it. On this round part of the cyclotron here, where it rounds over, it doesn't actually round over and go smooth. On the screen use hero packs, there's kind of like a lip. So it rounds over, but it's a little higher than the rest of the cyclotron all the way around. You can feel like a lip there. And I wasn't going to replicate it, but I was like, you know, it adds to this round part of the cyclotron, whereas it makes it look a little bit deeper with that extra step there, if that makes any sense. This is one part I didn't get right on my shell years ago, and there's not very many replica shells that really try to get the curvature right on the cyclotron. It's very distinct on the screen use hero packs, and I really wanted to replicate it because you could tell from certain lightings and certain angles on the hero packs, this curvature on the cyclotron, it really stands out. So as you can see here, all that, and you can feel it on the screen use pack. You could feel this round part right here where it starts to curve outward. You could feel that line. So I really wanted to try to recreate that, and I think I did a pretty good job on it. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I spent a lot of time sculpting and trying to get that. I was like the human lathe with like a razor blade going over that, really trying to replicate that. But yeah, I don't know if you can see. Here, I'm really going to try to. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up or not, but we're going to try. There's a little lip. You can kind of see the shadowing of it here. Not so much here because the way the light's hitting it, but you can see that shadow right there, and there's kind of like a lip. And how I did that was I masked all of it off, kind of where that seam line is. I bet a little bit higher. I measured it to try to get the proper distance, masked it off, and then I stippled on an epoxy coat all over the cyclotron in order to get that lip. So now it's ready for texture, and then once this is all textured, it's going to blend everything in nicely. So yeah, some of you are probably thinking I'm crazy, like why would you want to replicate that? You know what, I asked myself the same question, but it was just something I was like, hey, I'm going to do it. Let's just do it. Why not? This is the last shell. I ain't ever going to do this again. I might as well just try to replicate as much as I can. As much as possible, because there's a lot on there that I was like, nah, I just can't do that. It's weird. I backed the power cell window there, added in the gouges. I really tried to properly distance those. There's actually another little extra gouge that's up there. But yeah, I'm going to come back and add the nice little paint strokes. Alright guys, another detail which I forgot to add. This one I caught while my shell was sitting next to the screen use shell, and I saw it in the lighting and I thought, that doesn't look the same the way the light is reflecting on it. And I caught it, and I wouldn't have noticed unless I just randomly stumbled upon the lighting and the way it hit my shell. This plate right here, I had it more at a 45-degree angle. On the screen used Hero shell, this plate right here is slightly angled more upward than this part of the sink gen goes. So you can kind of tell looking at it, this sits a little higher than the line on the sink gen there. Yeah, that it was pretty stupid of me to do that, but I decided to go stupid and break it open and place it properly, resculpt it, and I added in this, I don't know if you can tell right there with the plate, this was kind of like some extra glue or something that was on the screen use hero packs that kind of comes out right here. They could have added this in to help with demolding, you know, to keep the mold from ripping. I don't really know, but it is present on the screen use hero pack. So I did add that in, sculpted it in there, which I didn't originally have it on there, but since I went in and readjusted the plate to have it more accurate, I did add that in. So yeah, that is now absolutely 100% perfect. Alright guys, so texture now. The texture I was originally going to try, if you guys don't remember, was the stippling of fiberglass resin, liquid fiberglass resin. And stippling, again, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically just dabbing it on with a brush until you get your desired texture with whatever material you're using. So I did try the fiberglass resin, and I was not happy with it like I originally thought. I did do a sample test piece that I showed you guys a few videos back, but you know, after doing it again, it just wasn't it. So I had to dive into the boards, look in the archives, and I stumbled across a member named RedSpecial on GB Fans, and he was directed from another Ghostbuster member, I think in the UK or something like that, that recommended this product called Protex. And I'm going to link his thread below so you could check it out. But basically RedSpecial did a whole entire like kind of a thread showing you the history of the texture, showing you how the texture is. I mean, he pretty much details everything. And then he shows you this texture that he used, this Protex stuff. And then he shows you kind of how he masked everything off. And then he applies this, and this comes with two different nozzles. So this comes with a red nozzle for heavier texture and a white nozzle. But anyways, long story short, looking at his thread, I was blown away. I was like, that's it. That's the texture. That's what I need for my shell. None of this stippling stuff. That's what I need. And it looked spot on in the pictures, but there was a problem. He's in the UK, and they have a pressurized goods law where you cannot ship from the UK to the US anything pressurized in a can. So that depressed me. So with that being said, I looked everywhere to find someone that would ship to the US this product, and to no avail, nobody would. Until I accidentally, when I gave up, stumbled upon a distributor here in the US that did sell this and distribute this, but it was on a website that looked like a scam website. But after I called, talked to somebody, I ended up finding out they're one of the only distributors in the US that distribute this stuff. And I have to say, after testing it out, using it, this stuff is amazing. Like, I'll never use this again. Ever. This stuff is the devil. I'll never use it again. For its time, 10 years ago, it was amazing. It did its job. It looked very close. You could probably work it even now to get it close, but it's so inconsistent and it's very difficult to work with. I never want to use it again, at least for this type of a project. I'm not going to use it again. This is the future for Proton packs. Unfortunately, it's just there's hardly anybody that sells it in the US, but luckily I found someone that sold it, and I did a few test pieces. By itself, it's great, but with another little technique, it comes out even better. So I'm going to show you guys a test piece of what I'm going to do on my shell very soon here. So you can see this is exact to the screen used hero shell. It's not close, it's not a near match, it's not near perfect. It's exact to the screen used hero. So this is the Protex fine texture. And this is not the heavy texture. I haven't tried the heavier texture yet. But I had an idea. I thought, well, what if I used some of the fine texture and then I coated kind of like a medium to heavy coat of hammered paint on top of it. And that's what came out. So that is the Protex fine texture coated with some hammered Rust-Oleum hammered paint, and it has the dimples and everything perfect to the screen use hero. So that's pretty much how it's going to sit on the cyclotron once I get to it. I plan on doing this in a couple days. It's going to require my fullest attention. So that's pretty much, guys, how the texture is going to look. And it's perfect because in certain lightings, like on the hero shells, you don't notice it, but when that light hits it the right way, it's like exact. I was thrilled. Thank you, RedSpecial, if you're out there. You probably don't watch my videos, but if you ever stumble across, thanks, man. That stuff is legit. I love it. Thank you for sharing it. So yeah, guys, that's the next step. We're going to get this thing textured. I had one other thing. If some of you guys are watching this video, if you can please, if you're interested in one of these shells once it's finished, please drop me a comment. I just would like to gauge a little bit of interest and see who's actually interested in purchasing one of these from me, because I am going to mold it. I have a few people that are going to be getting shells, but I would just like to know, I mean, who's interested? Who would love to have one of these? Please drop a comment below. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. I love hearing from you guys. So alright, guys, we are on to the next one, and hopefully the next video I shall be finished.